The Nintendo Switch is a retro gamer fan's dream console. We believe this system's perfect for reliving the glory days of classic gaming. As parents, we also love these games because they're not only a great way to share our childhood with our kids, as well as provide games that can be simple to pick up and play. Recently, we covered many of our favorite retro compilations on the Switch, and we found many more during our research. We just have to share these with you. So I'm Craig with Out of Control Games, and this is our list of even more awesome retro game collections you can find on the Nintendo Switch. On November 9th, we're getting the Double Dragon Collection as an import exclusive. While personally we prefer the Double Dragon Cutie Coon bundle, this collection's all about Double Dragon. This collection features Double Dragons 1 through 4, and for the first time on modern platforms, Super Double Dragon and Double Dragon Advance. If it weren't for licensing reasons, it would be great to see Battletoads and Double Dragon on this list. Or even Double Dragon Rising or Double Dragon Neon. Double Dragons 1 through 3 are the NES ports. The arcade versions of 1 and 2 will need to be purchased separately. And currently there's no word of other console versions coming to this collection. While we might be coming across as negative about this collection, personally my wife and I love playing Double Dragon 2 for the NES together. And with this collection, we don't have to drag out our NES or our NES Classic. You might be familiar with Wonderboy if you ever played Adventure Island. As it turns out, Adventure Island was an arcade port of Wonderboy for the NES, and it eventually became its own series, which we might talk about another day. The Wonderboy game spun off into a more fantasy-inspired platformers and even developed a sub-series of the Monster World games. There are two collections to look out for. The cheaper collection comes in around $30 and features Wonderboy, Wonderboy in Monsterland, Wonderboy in Monster World, and Monster World 4. Just keep in mind, this collection is missing two of the best games in the series. The Anniversary Collection at $50 features Wonderboy 3 Monster Lair, which never came out in America, and Wonderboy 3 The Dragon's Trap. The Anniversary Collection also features multiple ports of these games from the arcade, Master System, Game Gear, and Mega Drive ports. All these games are a fantastic time. We're just sad it's missing the new remakes of Wonderboy Returns, The Dragon's Trap, and Monster World 4. The Disney Classic Games Collection was originally launched with two childhood favorites, Aladdin and The Lion King. While the original collection was fine, it did feel incomplete. Aladdin was missing its Super Nintendo version, but now we have that version restored as well as the Jungle Book in all of its releases as a part of this collection. The updated collection also features more bonus content, more filter options, as well as the much needed rewind feature. This is especially helpful in the Genesis version of The Lion King with that stupid ostrich level. This collection is a great way to enjoy Aladdin, The Lion King, and the Jungle Book, especially the definitive edition of Aladdin, which is based on the Genesis version. It cleans up some of the levels and gameplay and is definitely worth a playthrough. Taito Milestones Volumes 1 and 2 are rushes of nostalgia. If you didn't grow up in the early 80s, many of these games may not be as familiar, but they are still a great time with Volume 1 featuring many arcade classics and the 3-screen version of the Ninja Warriors. Volume 2 features even more arcade classics, including two of my favorites, Darius 2 and its 3-screen version, and a little game called Kiki Kai Kai. You might know it as Pocky and Rocky. As someone who grew up with arcades, these games hit close to home, and no quarters are required to enjoy these games. Growing up in the NES and arcade era, Data East released a ton of amazing games. Bad Dudes, Joe and Max, Super Burger Time are just a few of the awesome games you'll find in the collection of arcade titles. Heavy Barrel is a ton of fun if you enjoyed Akari Warriors, and then Shmup fans will really enjoy Super Real Darwin. And if you're familiar with Dungeons & Dragons arcade games, the Gated Doom might be up your alley as well. While we wish the NES and Super Nintendo versions of these games were in this set, especially the NES version of Burger Time and Bad Dudes, this collection's a great way to enjoy these games without going to the change machine for more quarters. If you and a friend had a weekend to kill in the early to mid 90s, then you probably rented either Zombie Ate My Neighbors or Ghoul Patrol. If you're looking for a great but not too spooky time in October to play games with your kids or have an old friend come over, then these are a fun time to pick up and play. Zombies Ate My Neighbors features over 40 levels and brings back the classic gameplay many of us enjoyed. There are a few changes to Zombies Ate My Neighbors in the controls that they will feel different if your muscle memory kicks in. The control layout on the Switch moved from a SNES style classic layout that many of us were familiar with, and it swapped the A, X, and Y buttons. Why? We don't know, but there is no way to remap the controls in-game. And while Ghoul Patrol is personally not as good as Zombies in our opinion, it's a slower paced game and the controls feel a little bit more sluggish, it is great to see this game brought to modern platforms for preservation's sake. While we're not happy with the changes to the controls, we are glad to see save states, which can be a lifesaver. And if you're a super fan of this game, there are achievements as well as museum content. Most people probably know Blizzard nowadays for Overwatch, World of Warcraft, or Diablo. While Blizzard is a company that has grown and changed, the games in this collection are pure, non-microtransaction goodness. The Lost Vikings 1 and 2 are some of the greatest puzzle platformers of the Super Nintendo and Genesis era. Blackthorn is an awesome cinematic platformer that is, in a way, Rambo meets Aliens. And Rock'n'Roll Racing's a great destruction derby racer, and we even get its sequel, RPM Racing. Oh, rewind and save states are standard here, but we have to mention each game includes a definitive edition. Blackthorn adds a much needed map feature, and RPM Racing adds 4-player, split-screen, widescreen multiplayer. And The Lost Vikings now features 3-player support as well as the missing levels of the Sega Genesis version. An update is required for The Lost Vikings 2 and RPM Racing to be playable, but it's worth it to enjoy the SNES and Genesis or 32X versions of these classics. In America, we received the original SaGa series on the Game Boy under the banner Final Fantasy Legends. As a kid, I didn't know the difference until much later, and if you're a classic RPG fan, you owe it to yourself to check these games out. Legends 1, or the original SaGa, is more of a straightforward RPG than the other games in this collection. 4 heroes climb a tower, beat the bad guy, and get to the end. SaGa 2 takes a unique turn and lets you choose your party of either humans, monsters, or mutants. Each character has unique skills, evolutions, and more, and the story also gets an upgrade as well. A new team develops SaGa or Legends 3, and it leans harder into a more straightforward NES-era RPG, and is known to be the easier than its predecessors. But if you're looking for a classic RPG series to dive into, or if you want something a little different than a traditional Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest, then give the collection of SaGa a try. It seems like every console generation since the PlayStation, we've gotten a Namco museum. Both of these collections feature the NES versions of each game, and you do get a few standard titles like Dig Dug, Sky Kid, and Tower of Dragia, much like in the past. What separates these collections from past entries are the new games that make this feel a bit more refreshing. Surprises to this collection are the Pac-Man Championship Edition, NES D-Make, and the Famicom version of Splatterhouse you will find in Volume 1. Dragon Spirit was a welcome surprise, as it was one of my favorite NES-era shooters. Also, Dragon Buster's a pretty decent game as well if you're looking for an action platformer. Volume 2 gives us Rolling Thunder, Galaga, Legacy of Wizard, as well as Dragon Buster 2, Mendel Palace, and the Pseudo Galaga Seta Gap Plus. It's nice to see something besides pole position. As weird as it is for me to say, Ms. Pac-Man is missing here, and we will probably not see it again until the rights are secured from Arcade 1-Up. If we were to rank this list, sadly Sonic Origins Plus would have to go second. While it's great, you have the option to play Sonic 1, 2, CD, 3 and Knuckles in widescreen with modern controls. You get Amy Rose as a playable character and the 12 included Sonic Game Gear titles in the Sonic Origins Plus. But all that extra content is a download code if you purchase this physically. This is an absolutely devastating hit for the preservation of these games. To make it worse, the original music for Sonic 3 has been replaced. It does feel Sonic-y, but it's not the original tracks if you're looking for that. Negatives aside, this is the first time since the PlayStation 2 era we've been able to play Sonic 3 and Knuckles. There are included features such as extreme missions, a mirror mode, and more content we could dive into if we did a full review. If you're just wanting a way to play these great games with some slight improvements, this is a fine way to do it. Also, you won't be making the Genesis Tower of Power, and it's cheaper than hunting down a complete physical copy of Sonic 3 or Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Also, you don't have to steal 6 AA batteries to play Tails Adventure or the other Game Gear titles, so that's a definite win. What list would be complete without some honorable mentions or bonus games? If you're a fan of arcade shooters, the Darius Cosmic Collections for arcade and console can be a great time. The arcade collection does feature Darius and SaGa's arcade releases, and the console collection has the home versions. What we are not fans of is the price of each collection. When the Japanese version features both arcade and home ports on one cartridge. If you're a Darius fan, look into importing the Japanese copy through PlayAsia or other means and save yourself some money. For fans of the Samurai Showdown series, check out the Samurai Showdown Neo Geo collection. This features 7 games for you to enjoy. The games are very niche, but it's still fantastic if you enjoy fighting games or this franchise. While both Final Fantasy VII and VIII are technically sold separately, you can import the European release of these games on one cartridge. Both of these games feature upscaled textures as well as some quality of life improvements. Fast Forward, Instant Heal, and Instant Limit Break are lifesavers if you just want to enjoy the story. And the No Random Encounters option is an excellent addition if you just want to run across a world map going from point A to B. Also, it is still weird seeing Final Fantasy VII on a non-PlayStation system. Just saying. When it comes to the Mega Man franchise, Capcom has done an amazing job at preserving the Blue Bomber's legacy. While our experience with each game is limited, Battle Network 1 is still a favorite. What's absolutely impressive about this collection is what you're getting. You're getting 10 of the Battle Network games for the Game Boy Advance. It seems silly to think that a Mega Man card RPG went the Pokemon route on the 3rd game and beyond, but it is a unique way to experience the same game in a different way. Something else that's impressive is you're getting every e-reader card built into these games as well. No need to hunt these down just for special cards anymore. It's a fantastic way to experience these games either all over or for the very first time. So, what game collections would you want to see come to the Nintendo Switch? I think getting an Adventure Island collection would be great, or even a Mickey Mouse games like Castle of Illusion would be fantastic as well. We'd love to see what you have to say in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. We know life can feel out of control sometimes. Don't let your gaming